Well, folks, welcome back. It's Thursday the 25th up here at Hamilton Island Race Week for Scallywag TV, and there's the boat right beside us. Blake's got the camera on. They're having a briefing here, Warwick. Matt Humphrey's reading a sermon, reading something from the book.
Yeah, well, Matt, traditionally the navigator will be going through what the weather prediction is for the day. It's at the moment it's a little bit lighter than predicted, but the breeze is further in the right than we had on race 2 days ago. And just to remind everybody, we had a lay day, and the day before that we had no wind, so no racing. But these boys have utilised that time really well. They've been out both days. Talking to Campbell Knox on the way over. Sorry, I'm trying to get this radio off. Campbell Knox on the way over. Some of the issues they had with the furlers, they've sorted out, and they've put a lot of effort into getting the strops at the top of the A sails and code zeros correct, so there is a standard height above the pole with the furler, so that's sorting all those little things, Kilo, that seem little but cause big losses. Yeah, well, it sounded like you need to go to a university for furling, or I tuned in on that and had me confused, but anyway, as long as they know what they're doing, that's a good sign. Well, that's it. So just a little bit more on the recap in that last race. It was a great day for the Scallywag. They actually got the better of the Oats on that occasion. You saw that if you'd looked at it. You can have a look. It's up on the archive, 18 Footers TV, and so yeah, this is going to be great, Warwick, with a moral victory, even though they didn't get the points for that. They had a GAB. They've worked out the fact, and even the opposition know that boat is now capable, and this should be some great racing out on this track today. 3 races to do. They're quite short. Windward Lures, southeast, we said, southeast course. Well, it's starting out at around about 120, and it's meant to go around to 150, so yeah, getting around that number. Yeah, I'm just going to be interested in to see how the Oats boys deal with Scallywag now on the start line, particularly given that Scallywag did have height, had gauge straight from the get-go. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a different approach by the Oats boys today. Yeah, well, anyway, that's the exciting bit. We don't know that yet, and we're going to find out soon. We'll come back to you just inside the pre-start with about a minute and a half to go and see what these two giants are going to do with each other. Back to you then. Okay, welcome back to Scallywag TV. The game has started, Warwick. There they are again, sniffing each other out, mate. Well, Winnie's about to find out the 20 years of experience with Rico and his match racing skills, and the back end of that boat and Ian Murray, or his America's Cup campaigns. And half of these guys have done the Cup for many, many years, and at the moment, the Oats has got a lockout on the Scallywag. Correct. So they're going to have to tack out of there and drive back. That's the only way they're going to get in, I think, is it? What Scallywag is going to try and put the bow down and get across the front, but the Oats is responding to that. They're going down, bow down, speeding up. They've got the hook. Oats has rights. Not sure. I can't tell from here whether Oats has got an overlap. I don't think he has, but he hasn't got any pace on his boat at the moment. Yeah, Scallywag got away reaching, so at this stage probably not an overlap. We can't go in, it's not advisable for us to go into the start line area, but these guys are going hard at it. Just come around the left, losing Blake. Okay, 1 minute 15. The TP52s are lining up, all of them except Bo Jester on final approach. Bo Jester on port tack. Okay, the big boats are still going away. Well, I got a feeling David would like to get that separation again he got off the race the previous time where they got the advantage of Wild Oats. Absolutely. So that looks like what's taken shape. And I've got to say, Scallywag was head to win there with no breeze, with the Oats locking them out, and he did a good job of getting himself away from that. Okay, I've got 36, so these guys are ignoring the start. Yeah. So that all they're worried about is who's going to beat who. That's what we like, Warwick.
It's a match race.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, Scallywag have to be tacking soon, but what they've got to be careful of is not coming in overlaid and Oates having the inside and shutting them out from barging.
Very true.
So that's the next manoeuvre. Hang on. I think we've... Oh, no, we're good. I thought I saw the AP, but it's not. Okay.
So the race is underway.
Hang on.
You think?
Yeah, I've had to turn the radio down. Okay. No, it's AP'd.
Well, that was a little practice start. So we'll set up again. We'll come back to you when we get this organised, and that game will commence again. Okay, folks, welcome back. Scallywag TV. The game is on again. There's the two protagonists. The Scallywag right on our tuck. Was that?
Yeah, and they're going to want to. They were trying to use you as a blocker. So at the moment, Scallywag is lured. 2:14 to go. 2:10. They're both on lay, but won't take them 2 minutes to get there. Scallywag got the lured position at the moment and holding the advantage. I think they're on lay for the pin.
Yeah, they're on lay for the pin.
We saw them dialing away at each other and tacking and like driving, doing the full-on match race thing, maybe 500 metres away from the line with 5 minutes to go. So this has been going on for a while. We're just picking up the end of it, and it's starting to normalise. And at 1:30, they're going to have to burn. They're going to have to burn time for sure. They're coming up. The rest of the IRC A boats were setting up blockers.
So I'd say advantage Wild Oats here, Warwick. They're on starboard. Scallywag's got to burn some time.
No, they
fluid space.
I think they both have to burn time. Kilo, I'm not sure. We're not up on it. 1:10. It could be all right.
Could both break and both come around again.
Yep. So Scallywag is to leeward and bow ahead at the moment. Both the navigators will be calling time to the line. 55 to go. We're not on the bias. Okay, Oates burning some time. Burning time. They've got to burn a lot of time. Scallywag will have to do the same. Now they go up. Okay, 40 to go. They do have a fair bit to burn, Kilo, I believe. So very aggressive luffs. Now I think Scallywag might push down, but the breeze has been going right. When we first came out here, it was 085, and now it's around at 105, so it's clocked around 20 degrees in the time we've been out here. Okay, 19 to go.
Still way early.
Yep, Scallywag has room to come down and head towards the pin. In a moment we'll have a transit, but I've got a feeling they're both on course side at the moment and have to restart.
That's the way it's looking, mate. They'll have to come back around this pin.
So we might just stop here and see how this pans out.
Well, I don't think we'll stop here, mate. I think we'll get right out of here.
I didn't get the radio.
So the bows are going to go down, so that means Scallywag will lead into this re-round, wouldn't it?
Well, no, AP's up again.
Oh, no.
I missed it on the radio.
Okay.
So
start number 3, we'll come back for that.
Well, it seems, yeah.
Okay, here we go again. This is big start 3, the last 2 AP'd out, and Warwick, we've got a further interesting position with the Oates on attack. And Blake, if I can get the boat around, you can see the committee boat. They're well above the committee boat. Now they're going to have to bear down, Warwick. This is going to be a big burn off of time, and a lot of boat wheel handling by the DeWitt and Rico.
Yeah, well, at 1:40 to go, they're well too advanced to cross. They have, as you said, burn time, but this is about the Oates trying to get control over Scallywag now. The Oates has got their upwind code 0 just deployed. Breeze has gone soft and got further around to the right. We've had, this is our 3rd go at starting. Jib coming down on the Oates. So they're going to go for that. They're going up to a more powerful mode. at some level, Scallywag is in the controlling position, being behind, but with a minute 7 to go, they've both got to burn a lot of time. Oaks does a dial up, Scallywag responds.
One minute to go, we're inside a minute, Warwick.
Yep, 50 seconds to go. You can see the bowman, I don't know if you can pick it up, the bowman on both boats will be there, but they'll have the time and distance. The navigators will have that on their tablets. So Oates is setting up for a pin end start, a leeward start, I would say at this stage with 34 to go. The other boats in IRC A are now setting up for their final approaches.
Scallywag doesn't have the separation, Warwick. It's to the advantage of Wild Oats for mine right now.
Absolutely. Both boats looking to power up now. 15 seconds. They're basically racing now, Kilo. So that's it. Oates to leeward and ahead. And Scallywag a little bit soft in the water. They've got to really work on whether they can live there or not. So that's the official start there. Pretty even across the line for all boats. So for me, Kilo, it's going to be very, very difficult for Scallywag to live there. They can't tack yet. They've got other boats off their weather hip. This breeze to me looks like it's got a little bit left, just looking at the angle of these boats coming off the line. So Oates, they've got two things they've got to do. They've got to get through the gas of the Concubine and Patrice, and then the goat up in front. But they'll be wanting at some point to putting this, once they get clear, put the squeeze on the Scallywag and force them out to the right. So at the moment, advantage Oates.
Scallywag doing a pretty good job just sort of hanging. They're just hanging with them, but no doubt being effective, but they're still hanging in there. They just got to wait, as you said, was for that chance to tack back and get out and get some clear air.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to tack, Kilo, but they're going to have to wait till they get the opportunity, and that's not yet. I mean, now Oates is pushing away a little bit faster than Scallywag, with having Scallywag basically in their gas. Both boats sailing a lower course than the other IRC boats, just wanting to power up. But remember, just to recap, Oates went for a headsail change before the start. They're running their Upwind code 0, which is running off the stem or the bow, a little bit bigger than the jib running off the forestay. They've put maybe 3/4 of a boat length on Scallywag at the moment. Scallywag may have to actually come away a little bit to go to leeward of the goat. They couldn't get above it, and that's going to put them further in the gas of the Oates. David just running down to leeward, steering from the leeward wheel, just assessing the situation. But Scallywag can't tack yet. They won't clear the goat. The Patrice, I should say. Okay, actually they're climbing up over the top of goat, so they've held that line. They're actually hanging in there pretty well, considering.
They are indeed. That's a good sign. And to all other intents and purposes, Wild Oats can't tack either, was. They've got the controlling position in that sense, but it depends on what happens and if Wild Oats can get up in their face.
And looking upwind, there's a few more darker clouds up there, which generally brings a bit more breeze, and we're getting a lot of different clouds, which is making the breeze quite unstable. A lot of guys on the bow of the Oats trying to get it bow down, like well in front of the mast. So with this interesting, Scallywag, for me, could tack and clear. And just to recap, the TPs have pushed out to the right-hand side, Kilo.
Scallywag.
Here we go.
Tacking.
Now let's just see what the Oats does. Are they happy to keep going out to the left, or are they going to come back and respond to Scallywag? But definitely a lot softer in this patch of water right now. can see guys in the afterguard of the Oats talking about the pressure that you see those little hand signals come up. Okay.
Looks like they're getting into one now. Well,
Yeah, they're setting up for attack. So they have to furl. They have to furl first to clear the forestay, and then deploy again out the other side.
now there's some separation, and David can play with his headings the way he wants to. He can put his bow down and go for height if he wants to. So we'll shut this down. That's how it's ended up. Just say 10 minutes into this, finally we've got this raceway. We'll come back when we get some crosses up towards the top end turn mark. Back to you then. Okay, Wazza, this is the first cross. Here they come. Scallywag back on starboard. Oates, who's going to get there, brother? It's close.
It's actually, you're right, I think it is fairly close, but I think Oates has done enough. What's going to be interesting is, does...
He's got bear down. He's pulling his bow down. So,
he's
first
going for
cross.
the duck, yeah. So that was interesting. We saw the TPs and stuff went right early, a lot earlier like we saw the other day. And I thought Oates had a bit more pressure when they tacked, but it's actually advantage back to Scallywag. Now, the whole point is the Scallywag then go back for more of that righty up towards sort of Pentecost Island. We've been running now for 9 minutes 30, but interesting, I was calling that sail on the Oates a code 0. In fact, it's not. It's I got that wrong. It's what I would call a light air upwind jib on a furler. But now the breeze has increased a little bit. Maybe that's just helping Scallywag Kilo.
Yeah, they look pretty nice. They're nicely inclined and powered up nicely. Slashing through the water. So how far is he going to come out here, I wonder?
Well, that's interesting, to let the Oates off the hook a little bit or not respond.
They must be confident with their pace, though.
Yeah, no, here they go for the tack now, Kilo. Yeah, I'm thinking more tactically and strategy, that taking another chunk for that right-hand side of the course, which they're doing now. But definitely a little bit more breeze helps them. It was very soft off that line, and also they had to deal with the gas off the Oates. So
Scallywag nose in front. We'll come back. Okay, second cross goes to Waldos, was it? You thought they might have happened?
Yeah, well, I was surprised. Like Scallywag had got a really good advantage by getting to the right earlier than the Oates, and the Oates ducked them. And I would have thought they would have gone back a little bit earlier, but they extended further out to the left, and that's given Oates back a bit of advantage. But the thing is, just out to our right is the rock and reef called Surprise Rock, and from where I was sitting, Oates was heading for the rocks to the west of that and had to tack. But they're pretty much on line with the Alive, and like the other Windward Leeward, Alive the 66, punched out to the right with the TP52s really early on the beat, and he's leading this race again.
Okay, that'll do us for the moment. We've got to save some card. We'll see you up the top mark. I think we'll join you then. Bye. Well, there's the pictures. Scallywag back in front. It's been a real close affair, this one, Warwick, but Scallywag's going to lead around this first Windward mark quite comfortably.
Yeah, well, there was two lead changes up that beat. Obviously, Oates had the start, then Scallywag got back to the right, crossed, and then kept going. Oates went to the right further than them, then got back, and then Scallywag went back to the right and did a number on the Oates. And the thing is, they've got a blocker. Scallywag got in front of Alive, the 66-footer, and Oates had to duck both boats. Here's the deploy. They've been working the last 2 days to try and get this right. And let's just see how this unfolds. And bam, perfect.
Glamour.
Good job. So we've been racing now for nearly 20 minutes.
Little Reichel Pew Alive, second. And here comes the Mighty Oates. Probably be a little bit disappointed, Warwick, after that.
Oh, I don't know. They'll just be head in the game, Kilo. But going late with their downwind A sail, like they're not ready. They're around the mark and it's still not ready. They're going to have to get full luff tension on that, so they're losing time. They've got a live in front. They're losing more time. So that was like 26 seconds the gap. They're still waiting. They've got to get that into the lock and then get tack tension on the tack and then deploy. So we're still waiting. There are a good 3-4 boat lengths around the mark. It's still waiting. And this is helping Scallywag. Now they're going to have to deal with their lives. Still waiting. So, still waiting, Kilo.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I suppose that little duck, they probably thought they might have been able to, but that's racing, eh? You just got to be thinking in front, and when it turns pear-shaped a bit, you still got to get those manoeuvres going.
Yeah, these guys are all over it. We've got to be on board to really know why that happened and why they chose to go so late to hoist that, but now they're up and running. But they've still got a live in front of them, so that's helped. That's opened maybe another 3-4 boat lengths for the Scallywag. So far so good. Lap 1 to go, Kilo.
Yeah, great little race coming up. We'll shut down and pick it up down the bottom turn mark. Okay, folks, down to the bottom mark. Big turnaround, Warwick. Scallywag couldn't set their big A sail after that job.
Yeah, correct. They tried to deploy and they got maybe a quarter of it out, and then we saw them with that jammed for a long time. Then I just saw the bowman out trying to do something with that furler, and surprisingly though, Kilo, even with those problems which lasted a long time, then they've had to come in to this gate, main and jib, and the boats are actually bow on bow. Oates jibed away early, and so they've obviously gone to the wrong side of the course strategically. And here, watch this, Scallywag has rights, except on the turn they'll be overlapped, and Oates will then take the rights. And that little Mum 30, which is in Division B, Scallywag has to come down. They can't go in. Look, they're going for the big jibe, going around to the opposite side.
Well, that's a good move, and Oates have got a fair bit of washing to put away there, Warwick.
Yeah, so they're split. So now Oates has deployed their light wind uphill thing. So really, considering all the dramas that Scallywag had, they're still in this fight.
So round 1, how would you call that? Even points?
Even points. I mean, Oates had a problem getting their A sail up too late into the lock and not being able to deploy at the top mark, and then obviously there's been further issues on the Scallywag. So it ain't over yet, and for me, Scallywag is potentially pushing out to the favoured right-hand side of the course, and I can see clouds over there in the right with a bit more pressure. So let's see how this pans out. She ain't over.
There she ain't, and the game continues. See you halfway up when we see some crosses. Okay, folks, first cross coming up on the second beat. Scallywag TV on station, was it? They look bad about, but I think it might be advantage the big wild Oates. What do you got?
Yep, the Oates is going to do a cross. So they basically came around the bottom mark at the same time. Oates had a little bit more speed at the rounding, but there's not much in it. There's maybe less than half a boat length. Bow's just crossing Oates' transom now, so maybe half of it less, third of a boat length in it. I noticed that Oates, there's a dark cloud right above, it's very low down, and the Oates got a bit of a lift out of that, and that might have been the difference, Kilo.
I think you're right. Look, pretty plain. We got a top deck view of that, so I'd agree, was it? And so the race continues. We're probably a third of the way up, I'd say. We'll get up on that top mark, save a bit of card. I think it's going to be a neck and neck affair up there anyway, was it?
Yeah, it certainly is. Great race, and considering the dramas that they're in there, Scallywag boys are hanging in.
Up the top mark for the second time. Still very close was. Oates just going to get across. Scallywag needs to lay this, but I think he's good.
Yep, and Oates will put a little tack in front and above, so that'll put gas on the scallywags. I can see here scallywags on a very tight lay, and they've actually got a live coming across a 66, which has been starting an absolutely outstanding race. So the Oats, they've got their downwind sail in the lock. I just heard it there. Now the tack line will come on, get lots of luff tension so they have a good deploy. Okay, alive around the back. Yeah, so Scallywag had starboard there.
About a boat length, Warwick. It was interesting to see when Scallywag did that extra tack, and then they got the credit back again.
Yeah, so it's really out of that whole beat, maybe half a boat length in it. Wild Oats leads with, we've been running for 54 minutes and 20 seconds. It was the top mark. And Scallywag about to hit the mark, 8-second deficit. So this is all on for the final run in race 3 at Hamilton Island. And a good deploy from the Scallywag, so both boats getting that job done cleanly.
Well, that's the setup, folks. We'll no doubt bring you the action live from the bottom mark. See who wins this one. Another furling drama early on this run down, and it's Wild Oats' problem.
Yeah, well, what happened there, I think, Kilo, they've got it sorted now, but Scallywag was maybe 2 boat lengths behind Oats, saw the whole crew run to the bow. I thought they were getting ready to do a jibe, and I've got a gut feeling that the Oats thought the same thing, and they've just chucked it in there, and they only got about 4 wraps on the foil before Rico got the thing through to the new jibe, and it's got all fouled up on the forestay.
That's what it
and
was like.
Sat there for sort of the issue out for probably 15-20 seconds. So this could be the game changer.
It could be.
Let's see what happens for the next foil on the Scallywag, though, huh?
Don't say too much yet.
Exactly.
All right, we'll come back with more action. Okay, folks, here's the situation. Scallywag about to jibe this show here, and I was just talking to Wazza about these guys are going to do 1 jibe and into the finish, and Oates has gone out a lot further out. They got 2 jibes to get across the line. That could come into play.
Correct, and I think it was almost like felt like a bit of a dummy jibe from the Scallywag that the Oats did, and most importantly that was a good furl and deploy in that jibe for Scallywag. Oats is maybe a long way away, but they've jibed back, they're coming back. So Scallywag on port jibe, Oats on starboard jibe, so huge separation here, and to me it looks a little bit funky out on the right hand side looking downwind, but given that big separation, we don't know.
Well, I think you're right, Wazza. Looking across to Oats, they're in that sort of glass, well, it looks glassy from where we are.
It does.
And the Scallywag just sliding along nicely in pressure. So they're aiming at the finish line now.
Well, I mean, Oats has got pressure. I don't think there's going to be a lot in it, Kilo, but just remembering the Oats had that bad furl and then deploy in the jibe. So it's really going to be which side of the course is favoured here. But Oats at this stage coming in with pressure as well. So we'll go down to the finish and see what happens.
Yeah, the umpire's waiting. Okay, so there's our winner, Warwick. That separation was very costly to the Scallywag in the end.
Yeah, it was, Kilo. Unfortunately, it was, because at the end, Scallywag overlaid by a heap. They're coming in super hot here, and you just can't give that away. I was a little bit surprised because there was only 2 boat lengths in it when the Oats jibed and messed up their jibe, and really that handed the advantage back to Scallywag, and basically they were in a situation where they could have just got clean air, had a clean jibe, and then covered off on the Oats, and you know, in my mind, probably won that race. But anyway, that's the way it rolls. And so anyway, entertaining race 3.
Very entertaining, and there'll be more of that coming up. We'll be getting a start away here. Not too long. We've got to wait for a few boats, but that won't affect you. We'll come back live, or delayed live, as we do on Scallywag TV for the team Scallywag. Come back to you when the
warning signal sounds.